Good afternoon, Boyne Tannum, and welcome to the Community Forum at the Boyne Tannum Community Centre. Thank you for attending this afternoon. I was really looking forward to being there this afternoon to join you, because I know a lot of the conversation is going to be around the Boyne Tannum Aquatic Centre, which is fantastic news. As you would be well aware, at a recent council meeting, we've signed the tender, we've approved the tender for painters to construct the aquatic centre there in Lot 5, Arthur Street. And I really want to be there tonight to talk about it, because I know at the last community forum it was all about the pools, particularly the old site and the existing site. And I have a lot of councillors there tonight, and council staff will be able to answer all your questions. Obviously there'll be some pre-submitted questions that'll be answered first, and then there's the tables that everyone can catch up and talk individually for those that don't feel confident about asking questions in a big setting. But then also there's an opportunity for like a town hall at the end where councillors and staff will be able to answer questions. But I'm very excited that the pool is proceeding. I was in Tannum this morning at the swim club, where we presented the bags to the 7 national swimmers that we have from the Boyne Tannum Bullets Swim Club. So it was fantastic to be there with the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Patrick to congratulate those 7 swimmers from the Boyne Island Tannum Sands Club, and wish them all the very best for the Nationals. They're joining 3 other swimmers from Gladstone who will be attending the Nationals, or actually already at the Nationals in the Gold Coast right now. So it's just fantastic to see, and imagine how the sport will continue to grow when we have a new 50-metre Olympic standard swimming pool located right there in Boyne Island. I'm really looking forward to that. So, and obviously since the last meeting as well, we've been able to publicly announce, thanks to the support of our traditional owners in the Gladstone region, the significant cultural heritage find at the Coronation Drive site, and our team there can answer more questions about that as well. Have a fantastic night. I'm not going to talk all night on here. You've got, as I said, a number of councillors there and officers as well. My daughter has asked me to babysit. I have 2 granddaughters now, and my youngest granddaughter's just 5 months, and my daughter asked me just yesterday if I could babysit tonight. So that's going to be my priority for tonight. I'll be babysitting, and I wish you all the very best for the forum tonight, and I hope the councillors and the staff can answer all the questions you have. Have a fantastic night and enjoy the forum. Cheers.
That was his family emergency. He's very devoted to his grandchildren. So, okay. So going forward, and before we start our small group discussions and things like that, we have received a number of questions, probably around 20 questions, in the online platform, our conversations page. And I was going to walk you through some of the answers for those questions, but at the same time, I will also point out anyone that you might want to ask more in relation to that question, that it's here. So to start, I'll talk a little bit about Canoe Point boardwalk. So obviously, that facility, that piece of infrastructure has aged and has reached the end of its service life, and it's no longer safe for the public to use. So we understand that it's a well-loved piece of infrastructure, and we know that, and we are working right now considering options for the replacement or something in place of it, so the Canoe area point can be utilised the same way it was before. So if you want any more information in relation to that, we have Mark Francis, and he, apart from the acting CEO, he's General Manager of Assets and Environment. There was also a question in relation to algae in Canoe Point wetlands. And yes, it is something that we are aware of. However, managing something like this is not that simple. And it is, the wetlands are a stormwater treatment system. So it is normal to see some algae developing in the area, and because the lagoon isn't used for swimming or drinking, the health risk, we consider it low, and there is no suitable treatments for that algae in that space. So anything that we can use, any chemicals, etc., will harm wildlife and disrupt the ecosystem. And will, at the end of the day, if it does do anything, will be a very short-term result, and we will be back again. There are, however, some things that we can do as community members to help that issue, And some of that is make sure that, you don't put fertilizers through the drain, you don't put clippings or lawn clippings on the sewage systems, and you keep those drains clear. So everything, maintaining a community is everyone's responsibility. So if we're able to do that, that's something that everyone can do to reduce that issue. If you have any questions about that, please, Elise is in charge of that area and she'll be very happy to answer any questions there. The duck pond barbecues, yes, we have removed the barbecues, but that was approximately 10 years ago. So they weren't used very much, and there was a fair bit of vandalism, and the cost of maintenance and repairs was quite high. So we, however, do continue to maintain the barbecues in the other areas in Canoe Point, which is only about 200 metres away. So if you have any issues about that, or if you have any proposals, ideas, etc., please contact, in this case, Mark Holmes. He is right here. Millenium Esplanade, again, and this comes up all the time, and we understand that it is something that worries especially a lot of parents in relation to the playground and the shade that is available for the playground. So we do have natural shade. Our first option is always to use natural shade because it's safer, and it's also matching, I guess, the landscape and the soil in that area. So we are, however, fast-tracking some of the sales and some of the shading work that we're doing around parks and gardens around our region. So we will be prioritising some of those spaces that are used most by community to make sure that we provide them with shaded playgrounds. And the weather getting as hot as it is, definitely something that we need to be looking at. So there was also questions about speed bumps. Some people had issues around hooning and, I guess, speed limits. So we do have a local area traffic management treatments. We have those speed bumps. We have those, the turtles we all go through. I'm struggling to understand how anyone can speed through those turtles. But anyway, so if there is any concerns about speeding or hooning, that is a Queensland Police issue. And there is a Queensland Police Service line that specialises in hooning, which is 13HOON. So in case you can't remember, it's 13HOON. So, and 134666. And if you want to talk to anyone about that again, go to Mark Holmes or to Mark Francis. Same footpaths. In that case, we keep talking about footpaths. That's something that happens almost at every meeting that us councillors have together. We understand that we want more footpaths, and we're trying to strategize how we get around doing that. And you might have seen recently that we've been consulting with lots of people around the Boyne and Tannum area as we're developing and almost completed the BITS walking network plan. So that plan is going to help us guide future decisions. So to make sure that we provide those footpaths and provide safe areas for people to move around. So in relation to children also, I have heard some people being concerned about the safety of kids around schools, etc. We do know that, and we can only ask you that in whatever capacity you have to make sure that you let children know and support them in understanding how to move around the area safely, especially on their bikes and scooters, etc. So it's everyone's responsibility to be safe on the roads. Going on to animals, we obviously receive a few questions about animals. There's always an issue that people don't always agree with each other about the approach. So in November 2024, we did a local law review around dogs on leash, off leash, or permitted dogs in certain areas, and we decided not to allow dogs in Millenium Esplanade, and that will continue to be the case. So I guess there's reasons that we do that, and there's community members that agree with it and others that don't, but we took the position that for now we will not allow dogs in that area. So there's also a lot of other areas that you can take your dog on leash and off leash, and they're beautiful places, so please go and use those. And if you want any information about where you can and can't take your dogs, our website has it all. So we will continue to consider your feedback, so please keep sending us things. We always want to hear your views and to make sure that we take them into consideration at any further reviews. There is something else about animals, which is probably something we haven't told anyone yet, but we received a question about puppy registrations. Understanding that puppies are not yet desexed, so we can apply a desexed registration fee, which is a reduced one. So we are considering reducing the registration fees for puppies and kittens, and we might be looking at something like the first 6 months of their lives where we have a reduced rate and then a review after those first 6 months. But we will let you know how we go as we progress that work. So that will be announced as soon as we know. So in relation to, there was a couple of questions about the Bids Golf Club, and I know there's some people that are very interested in hearing that, and that's why we brought subject matter experts to here to talk to you about it and make sure that all your questions are answered. And you can also talk to all of us or take us away separately, or we have 2 hours here to talk about any of the issues that you want to talk about. So I think that's most of the questions. We will also be publishing all the answers to these questions on the conversations page. So in a couple of days, if you want to have a look, the questions listed there will have an answer. Now, another thing I wanted to tell you, it's that you don't have to wait to come to one of these to ask your questions. So while we love to have you here and see you, you don't have to wait. You can talk to us anytime. There is a piece of paper at the front, and I put one in each table, that has all our faces, and have our phone number and our email addresses. So you don't have to sit at home thinking about, oh, what am I going to go and talk to at the forum? You don't have to wait. You can come and approach us directly. So whoever one you want to approach, or you can talk directly to our general information number, and we can help you through that. So these forums are great for engaging, for getting to know one another, but your issues and your problems don't exist only when a forum is on. You might have issues, compliments as well. You can always have compliments, which we'll be more than interested in hearing. So anyway, I think that's all for me. And now for those ones that haven't been to this before, even though if you might have, the one before, as the mayor mentioned, was a little bit different, because at the time the swimming pool was everything that the town was talking about, and I think we kind of moved past that, luckily, and we're going to see a great facility just across the road, hopefully very soon. So the way in which we've been doing community forums, as you see in the different tables, we have a sign that has a different topic. So the conversations with councillors is where you can sit with a councillor if you want to, or you can also come and talk to us and take us aside, and there's a couple of others. What do we have? The Garden Organic Services, so the Go Bin, the Coronation Drive update, thank you, and BTAC. So that doesn't mean you can't talk about other things. That's not a problem. It's just that at least we identify that those might be some of those hot topics people want to talk about. So without further ado, would we move on to Laurie at all? Or Laurie, do you want to say a little bit about the Go service for everyone? And then after that, we move on to our topic tables. And then we'll come back to, I guess, wrap up. And in the meantime, don't forget to use The facilities are over there, so if you go around, you'll see the signs to the toilets, and there's food, drinks there. So please take them because we don't want to take them home.
Hello everyone. I don't like using the microphone, I'm loud enough without one. So the Garden Organic Service, hands up here who knows what the Garden Organic Service is, have heard about the grow bins. Yes, you're at my table. Oh, we've got a microphone. Another one. So thank you. So the Garden Organics bin is designed to try and divert garden waste from landfill. So 20% of our red bin waste, so the red bin goes direct to landfill, 20% of that bin is actually made up of garden material and organic material, which once it goes into our landfill actually creates methane and all nasties for the environment. We're trying to divert that from landfill to enable us to make a product. So at the moment our self-haul green waste gets ground on our sites and we turn it into mulch, which is available for free to members of the public. We're trying to utilise this as a way of diverting it and creating a product that we can also use for that same purpose. It starts on the 1st of July. I'm very excited personally about it because I can see the value in this. This is not my first rodeo of actually putting out the garden organics type of service out to the community in other regions. So I think this will be a really good benefit for the community here in Gladstone region. Thank you. Oh,
very good. Very good. So if everyone's happy, we will move on to the tables. Yeah. Sorry, do you mind if we get a microphone? Because
from the last forum we had here was about recycled trucks going south and the percentage of them that were actually going there.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty keen on the idea of recycle and then nothing going in the ground and it all getting sorted and doing something. So I would be keen on finding out what percentage of trucks go south now and what the plan is to do something else about it.
Yeah, well, I think we all share that passion. So the council is very passionate about doing its best it can to manage waste in the best responsible way. Laurie, do you have any figures? Here, would you like to come in?
All of our yellow bin, so all of your yellow bins across the entire region, all go down the sunny coast. So it all gets dropped off at the Burnett facility into a sorting bay and it gets loaded into a truck and it gets taken down to the sunny coast. So nothing goes to landfill directly from your yellow top bin. So that's a myth. I think we spoke about that before. That's a myth in the community that we have got our yellow bin trucks going to landfill. That's not the case. And in actual fact, anyone who sends recyclable material to landfill, we actually reload them and actually put them into the recyclable bays. That's how passionate we are about making sure we're recovering as much from landfill as humanly possible.
I think the bit that goes with that is, last time we didn't really get an answer.
Yeah.
And so we were having a yak afterwards about it. So I thought, I need to find out what's really going on. So
Yeah.
I did a bit of research on other areas that are doing.
Other areas that are doing something. And so I've just got an interest in that and I'd like to see or be convinced that it is all cleared up properly. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm sure maybe we can organise some sort of walk through facilities. So if you wanted to, Laurie's saying yes, absolutely. So, and you might take a chance to go and have a look at the new tip shop as well. There's a lot of changes happening in that space and we're very excited. So, sorry, no tip. Sorry, there's someone. I will keep the questions to a minimum because we need to go into our groups and at the end of the day, lots of people want to talk about certain topics that are not of interest to everyone.
Yes, the mention was made of recycle bins. I live in a block of apartments. We don't have recycle bins. We just have the big bin and everything goes into it. is there anything being done so that people in apartments can recycle? You know, at the moment we do cash for cans, which goes into our social club. But apart from that, everything just goes in that big bin.
You have a microphone, Laurie.
So that's a really good point as well. So sometimes unit blocks have commercial arrangements with.
So apartment blocks sometimes have commercial arrangements with providers of waste collection service. What we're running coming up soon is a closed loop project where we'll actually be reaching out to different businesses and community groups and establishments like yours, where we can actually either implement a service or see what sort of streams we can actually recycle from your unit blocks, for example, and other businesses around the community, if that makes sense. So we're looking at expanding that out. So it's not a direct answer to your question, but we're heading down that path. So your apartment block at the moment will have a commercial arrangement, and that just may be for general waste collection. Yeah, and it's something I'm very passionate about, trying to see how we can find a solution for those recycling streams.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, so if we go into our conversations, we come back in probably about 45 minutes or an hour, if anyone else has any more questions after that. Okay.